In this video, I'd like to discuss the roll sign prints product. The roll sign prints product is used anytime you're directly printing to a flexible substrate, such as printing to a banner, vinyl, or paper. If we look at this product within an estimate or an order, the first thing we come to is the quantity of prints being ordered. In this case, I have turned on one of the advanced features of breaking out quantity into sets and originals. If using this feature, it wants to know how many copies of how many images. In this case, I'll say I'm doing 5 copies each of 2 separate images for a total of 10 prints. Next would be the height and width of those images, and then the actual printer being printed to, and the resolution of that printer or print mode. If we look at the printer help menu or help screen by clicking on the question mark, this breaks out what those resolutions are, the printer settings, the associated print speeds for costing, and the percentage of price increase for an area-based pricing. Next we come to the material type that's being printed. In this case, we'll say we're going to print to vinyl, and it's going to be a 2 mil gloss. If you choose a vinyl material, it will ask whether you need application tape or pre-mask. If I click on that, it just means I'm using a pre-mask or application tape to apply it to a mounted material. The lamination and mounting type, this will either be the laminator or type of laminate. And what that laminate is. And then a back laminate or adhesive. Next we come to the mounting side. Here we're going to mount this vinyl onto coroplast. And then it wants to know what type and size coroplast are we going to use. I can either cut it out of a sheet or use the pre-cut sizes. In this case, let's say we're going to cut it out of full sheets. Next we come to the sheet usage. In this case, sheet usage I have set to default to full sheet, meaning I'm going to use up to and scrap up to the full size of coroplast. I can control that and say no, I only want to use up to a half sheet. This then takes the assumption that you are cutting the board in half and will reserve the other half in stock if not used. In this case, if I look at a half sheet and we look at the info tab, it's breaking out how that is going to lay out. On a half a sheet of 4x8, I can get 2 vertical and 2 horizontal. Therefore, utilizing 4 per sheet or 4 per half sheet for 3 half sheets for a total of 1.5 sheets. Now, if I was saying I was going to do this in full sheets, it now says I can get 2x5 out of a full sheet, and it's only going to use 1 sheet. Based off of cutting it in half first, I could not fit as many on the sheet. Next we come to a cut method. This is how this is going to be cut out. Again, we are cutting it out of a 4x8 sheet, so therefore am I hand cutting it? Am I going to cut it on some form of router or iCut or other piece of equipment you may have? In this case, we're going to hand cut it. Then we come to a cut complexity. The cut complexity of simple, standard, and complex is based off of, if we look at the help menu, the question mark, of is it more of a square cut that we're cutting out, like a simple yard sign, or is it something that has more curvature to it, or is it something that is more complex with lots of curvature and angles? In this case, we're just going to say that it's a simple complexity because we're just cutting it by hand and cutting it square. The next one is the cut style. This is another advanced user feature that you may or may not see a purpose for. In this case, since we're just cutting out of coroplast, the cut style is just square. But if I had to mount this to wood or some other format, I might have to bevel it or polish the acrylic edge, or other styles that you may add. And again, this can be turned on in the user constants if you wish to use it. Next we come to the add-on tab. Here we have a quick quote finishing. This is just to add a simple percentage to the overall print price for finishing. If we look at the help menu there, it breaks out what those are. In this case, it's adding a 5%, 20%, or 35% increase for checking one of those boxes. This does not help costing, nor does it give any detail on a work order. If we want to help do costing or get more detailed in pricing and what's on the work order, then we can go to Custom Finishing and choose just what applies. In this case, since I'm mounting it, I could go past the banner finishing options, but if I was going to print a banner, I could then choose an edge treatment such as webbing or an install method such as Velcro, grommets, double-sided tape, etc. The grommet spacing, and it will auto-calculate how many it assumes grommets will needed per piece, based off the left, right, top, bottom, or corners only being grommeted. Hems and pockets, you can choose whether it's going to get a 1-inch hem all the way around, and you can add different hems and pockets selections that will autofill what those are. You can also choose a custom and type in whatever you would like those hems and pockets to be. If it's going to be hemmed or seamed, what is it going to be seamed with, and whether its wind slits are required. Since we're mounting this item, it wants to know whether we need any type of edge treatment such as a trim cap. The same install methods could apply. Grommets could also apply if we were hanging these, etc. And then easel backs or drill holes, and whether we needed these corners to be rounded. The layout data allows you to put in special spacing between the prints and additional margins. Here I could add a gap, overlap, or margins on either the printed or roll material or the mounting material if they need to be different. By applying these, it will separate the prints and therefore may utilize additional sheets of material. Again, the add-ons is just our user add-ons or modifiers, and the notes on work orders only print on work orders. And then again, a separate info tab for your print material layout and your mounting material layout. Below that we have the print description. This is what's going to print on estimates and invoices for this particular product. Now that we have our product entered as we want it, if we look at the area-based pricing, since we're looking at an area-based pricing method at this moment, it's going to break down what our base price is, what our mounting, our cutting, and our laminating charges are to give us a total price. These can be overwritten individually from here if need be. One of the advanced features as well allows you to add a pricing method option. This allows me to control how I want to price, such as I could switch from an area-based pricing to a cost-based pricing method. Switching to a cost-based pricing method, it is then looking at all the cost of materials and labors, adding them up with the appropriate margins, and giving you a price. If we look at the cost-based tab, it breaks them out by material, labor, equipment, etc. This concludes our video of the roll sign print. If you have any further questions, please review our other videos or contact Sirius's implementation department. Thank you.